Welcome to our next Wandering Walks adventure. We're headed to downtown Springfield, Missouri for a visit to the History Museum on the Square. This is a great institution that takes visitors on a captivating journey through the rich and diverse history of both the city and the surrounding Ozarks region. Housed within a beautifully restored building, it serves as a time portal and meticulously preserves and presents the narratives, artifacts, and pivotal moments that have indelibly shaped this wonderful community. Our tour here begins at the Birthplace of Route 66 Gallery. As highways were being mapped out, a route was devised from Chicago to Los Angeles by a group of men including B.H. Pipemeyer of Missouri and Cyrus Avery of Oklahoma, along with local Springfield advocate John T. Woodruff. The route was proposed to be Highway 60, but the governor of Kentucky opposed the naming. Highways ending in 0 were designated as cross-country highways, and he argued that the road was not truly cross-country. Also, Kentucky did not have a main highway ending in either a 0 or a 5 running through the state, which he considered an act of isolationism. The National Committee slated Chicago to L.A. to be Route 62 instead of 60, but Pipemeyer, Avery, Woodruff, and their planning team disagreed. The committee for the route met here in Springfield, Missouri at the Colonial Hotel just a few blocks away and decided to name the route Route 66. A telegram was sent from Springfield requesting 66, and therefore Springfield is often nicknamed the birthplace of Route 66. J.T. Woodruff eventually became the first president of the Route 66 Association. Their biggest push was to pave the highway from end to end, which took many years to do so. He received much of the credit for putting Springfield on the map. He was instrumental in bringing Highway 65 through Springfield and supported the Transcontinental Foot Race and is credited with increased tourism here in Springfield.
This renaming enraged Commissioners B.H. Pipemeyer of Missouri and Cyrus Avery of Oklahoma. Together with Springfield Attorney John T. Woodruff, they lodged a protest.
If routes are to be changed this way without notice to states or executive committee, you are making a joke of the interstate highway. We shall insist on Route 60 from Chicago.
If you've ever traveled Route 66, leave a comment on what you think was one of the most memorial sites, buildings, roadside attractions, or cities that you visited along the way.
Regarding Chicago and Los Angeles Road, if California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Illinois will accept 66 instead of 60, we are inclined to agree to this change.
Thus, Springfield, Missouri, the town from which Avery and Pipemeyer sent the first recorded reference to Road 66, became officially recognized as the birthplace of Route 66. Woodruff became an energetic promoter of the new highway and of Springfield. He pushed for the naming of Highway 65, which ran through Springfield as part of a north-south route from Minneapolis to New Orleans, making Springfield, in the eyes of many, the crossroads of America. Woodruff championed the Great Transcontinental Foot Race in 1928, also known as the Bunyan Derby. He was the first president of the U.S. Highway 66 Association, which pushed to get the entire road paved, a feat not accomplished until 1938. Woodruff's enthusiasm and hard work led to a significant tourism boom along the highway and in Springfield.
I have assisted in many other highway projects, but none as interesting as U.S. Highway 66, the main street of America.
As we take a look at some of the exhibits here in the Route 66 gallery, there are some things about Route 66 that you'll find that are very unique to the Springfield area. A couple things to take notice of as we go through this gallery are items and artifacts from Graham's Rib Station. In the 1930s, Graham's Rib Station was owned and operated by James and Zelda Graham. Zelma was a college-educated school teacher who graduated from Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri. In an area of segregation, the African American couple were known for serving everyone, black and white alike. They also helped house African Americans traveling Route 66, including the likes of Ella Fitzgerald, Satchel Paige, and the Harlem Globetrotters, who performed in Springfield but weren't allowed to stay in the downtown hotels. At their location on Chestnut and Benton Streets, they had cottages available for rent. While James was well known for his meat, Zelma was famous for the barbecue sauce. Another item that you'll see here is a sign for the Rail Haven Motel. The Rail Haven started out as the Rail Haven Cottage Cabins. It was located along the three main highways that came through town, Route 60, 65, and 66. The name came from the split rail fence around it, which made the motel easier to identify and reflect the Ozarks style. It was an incredibly popular place to stay along Route 66 from the 1930s through the 1960s. Even Elvis Presley stayed at the Rail Haven when he played at the Shrine Mosque here in Springfield, Missouri.
In the mid-1920s, a committee of federal planners was hard at work devising the U.S. interstate highway system. All north-south highways would end in an odd number, and all east-west highways would end in even numbers. The committee recommended that the major transcontinental highways would end in zero. On September 25th, 1925, they proposed Route 60 from Chicago, St. Louis, Springfield, Oklahoma City, Amarillo, Santa Fe, Flagstaff to Los Angeles. Immediately after the naming of Route 60, Kentucky Governor William J. Fields protested that the proposed Route 60 was not truly transcontinental. He further expressed his dismay that his state did not have a major highway ending in 0 or 5.
I believe that we need to knock out to fight this proposition of isolation.
In early 1926, the planners changed Route 60 to Route 62, agreeing the Route 60 name to be used for the highway that went from Newport News, Virginia, through Kentucky, and west to Springfield. This renaming enraged Commissioners B.H. Pipemeyer of Missouri
The legendary Wild Bill Hickock was a gunfighter, scout, lawman, and gambler. He is known in Springfield for his infamous shootout on the public square, actually just outside the windows here of the museum. It's believed to be the first recorded Wild West style shootout. Wild West shootouts are classified as informal and personal encounters as opposed to more gentlemanly duels. Hickock came to the Springfield area during the Civil War. After the Civil War, he worked as a lawman in Springfield, although Hickock was also very well known for his gambling and hot temper. One man that Hickock came into contact with was Davis K. Tutt, who ended up at odds with Hickock in July of 1865. Both Tutt and Hickock were playing a poker game at a hotel here on South Street, and even though they were friendly at times, they got into an argument over a pocket watch used as collateral during the game. The next day, Hickock found Tutt on the square wearing the watch. Wild Bill entered the square from the South Street and Tutt came in at the northwest corner. Both men stopped to face each other. They were about 75 yards apart. Witnesses claim that Tutt was the first to make the draw, but Hickock was the one to make the first shot and Tutt fell dead on the courthouse steps. Hickock turned himself in, and after a 3-day trial by jury, he was found not guilty of manslaughter because the jury could not determine which man was the aggressor.
Soldier in 1865. They often like come together with Hickock frequently borrowing money from Tutt. Although they were initially friends, they formed a trust. In the advantage between grew. To further this goal, Tutt demanded the repayment of his debts.
Before the Civil War began, Missouri was in a state of turmoil over the topic of slavery in Missouri and surrounding states. Originally a slave state due to the Missouri Compromise of 1820, in 1854 the Kansas-Nebraska Act changed the ruling to let citizens of each state decide their state's slavery status. That movement, along with other factors, left a very tense political and economic climate in the state. When the Civil War broke out on April 12, 1861, President Abraham Lincoln called for 75,000 federal troops to put down the skirmish, but the Missouri governor, Claiborne F. Jackson, refused to send troops through though the state still stayed in the Union. Missouri was a greatly sought-after state for the Union as well as the Confederacy due to its central location, access to the railroad in Rolla, Missouri, and abundant natural resources. By the end of the war, Missouri ranked as the third most fought-over state in the country, right behind Virginia and Tennessee during the war. 3 battles happened in and around Springfield during that time. One of those is Wilson's Creek Battle, which there is a National Historic Site about 10 miles away from here from the museum.
So much desired. The complete and finished education. Of that little band of Union boys, 3 of them went down in the terrible vortex that followed, and now sleep in soldiers' graves.
August 10th, 1861. General Lyon and nearly 6,000 troops attacked 12,000 Confederate troops camped at Wilson's Creek, 12 miles outside of Springfield.
The French were the first Europeans to explore this area of what would become Missouri. They were the first to be in contact with the Osage Indians. In 1818, Henry Schoolcraft and Levi Pettibone explored the territory west of the Mississippi River and came into this area now known as Greene County. In 1828, John Polk Campbell came to the area with his brother-in-law following Native American trails that crossed through the area. Originally from Tennessee, the two were looking for opportunity and to expand their family's landholding. Campbell found good land near a large spring and marked out a tree with his initials to claim the land while he journeyed back to Tennessee to move his family out.
On the last day of March 1856, I rode into Springfield on a red sorrel horse. I was 20 years old, and now at the end of 50 years, I want all of the men who lived in the city then and live in the city now to take dinner with me on that anniversary. Yours truly, Martin J. Hubbard.
We're now heading into the Trains, Trolleys, and Transportation Gallery. This exhibition is one of the most interactive and immersive exhibits here in the museum. On this little tour here through this area, we can climb aboard a train which shows a rolling landscape and looks like it's in motion. We can also check out the boiler and control the speed of the train. There's also games for kids to play, as well as discussion panels talking about travel by wagon train and automobiles.
son of freed slaves, Walter Majors owned a bicycle shop in Springfield. In 1901, he built a car, only the second automobile ever in Springfield. And then he took it for a ride on the public square. It was going dangerously fast, according to eyewitnesses, almost 7 miles per hour. Majors and his wife later moved to St. Louis, where he opened Majors Chauffeur School and Automobile. Over the course of his life, Majors found thousands of magnets for automobiles, souls, and
The museum on the square has a special exhibition gallery. During this visit, this particular exhibit talks about and shows artifacts from service stations that are very prominent along Route 66. Our final gallery that we'll explore is called Native Crossroads at the Spring. This particular exhibit discusses the Native Americans who lived in the area from about 1600 through the late 1800s. The Osage were the most dominant tribe in the area, covering the majority of Missouri, northern Arkansas, and parts of Kansas and Oklahoma. The Delaware, Kickapoo, Shawnee, and others were moved into the area in the 1810s as they were relocated by the government from the east. The land that later became Springfield was a temporary home for these tribes.
Long before there was a Springfield, before there were European settlers, before there was a historical record, there were people who lived here. Evidence for this is now being collected by this team of students and archaeologists from Missouri State University.
This is a White River projectile point. It was held by Al level. It was made about 6,000 years ago, plus or minus 200-300 years. Folks that were making the White River points, they really did like this area quite a bit. They came back time after time, maybe not every year, but perhaps every 2 or 3 years. And they might stay 2 or 3 seasons and then move on.
Since this time, the story of Native Americans in Springfield has been one of movement.
I hope you've enjoyed your Wandering Walks of Wonder tour here at the History Museum on the Square in Springfield, Missouri. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you on our next Wandering Walks of Wonder adventure. Take care now. Bye-bye.